Hey, curious minds, welcome to the Robert and Crew Show, where nothing's off limits and everything's up for debate. I'm Robert, here with Crew and the awesome Julie, and let me tell you, Season 6 is our wildest ride yet. You like conspiracies? We've got 'em. From secret societies with handshake deals in shadowy rooms, to wild theories about weather control and UFOs zipping across the skies, I promise there's no rabbit hole too deep for us to dive into. Ever wondered if your neighbor's a lizard person? Or if the lights in the sky are just weather balloons? Or something a little more out of this world? Yeah, we talk about that. But it's not just mysteries and mayhem. We're also obsessed with history's weirdest moments, global news stories that never make the front page, and even the pop culture that shaped us. Batman debates, Assassin's Creed lore, classic horror films that made us sleep with the lights on, all fair game. And the best part? Our show isn't just us talking. We bring in special guests, listener questions, and wild interviews that might just blow your mind. Whether you're tuning in on Facebook, Twitch, or right here on YouTube, you're in for a mix of shock, laughs, and those, wait, seriously, moments. So if your brain loves a good mystery, join us every week. Hit subscribe, drop your weirdest questions, and let's unravel the world together, one wild episode at a time. This is the Robert and Crew Show. See you on the other side.
Welcome back to the Robert and Crew Show. As always, I'm your podcast host, Robert.
And I'm your podcast co-host, Crew.
And I'm your co-host, Julie.
And tonight, we will be breaking in on our original series, Tara Infinita, that we haven't done in a while. Because Crew's too lazy to do it.
I don't have a laptop to do it, damn it.
So now he's making me cover it. But you guys can see on the screen, at least you should be able to, that we have the Tara Infinita book up on screen right now, and we will be doing Chapter 14, Lands of Orion. This is a map of what the Lands of Orion look like. It's kind of interesting looking.
Yeah.
Kind of have that the same form that Earth has. They have a barrier and then extra land and then another barrier.
Right.
All right, let's get into it. They have been experiencing with many races. They have in their knowledge about all of them existing here, and the custodians have used them on several occasions, and they're obsessed in their obsession to try to entertain the celestial lands. But all the attempt was failure. Many of these beings were dealing with analyzing when he is in the depth, being carried out abduction and other genetic tests. They are beings that lack empathy and are generally hostile towards humans. Only on some occasions showed compassion. But in most cases of abducted that have really had bad experiences abound. For a long time, they abduct and experience with human beings. And the fact in time before the last reset and other resetters they had already experienced with us, the Kuroso, was when they tried to make a domestic time in advanced Great Tartarin, where the free energy and very high technology was controlled for the time. The ships of the Greys are almost reflected by thousands every day. We would call them brothers from the beings of Zeta Reticuli. Since his races are intermingled and today together coquet, in the previous evidence to the Great War, these beings were in control of the known lands for a short period of time. Since the custodian leaders and the Anunnaki had great problems of surveys in another circle environment, this was taken advantage of by giants and humans to carry out the greatest upgrading of history. The Greys were bold without being able to do anything but go into search of custodians. These beings were expelled from the lands known by giants. The Jams forgive it. And if there were subsequent meetings with giant leaders, it is well known that they detect them and that the feeling is mutual. The biggest leader of the gray beings in the Tai known rays, that greener that elevates even more hatred that people have to humanity. The Greys colonized the independent lands, but they never reached any other circle environment on their own account. The beings of Zeta Reticuli were colonized by the Anunnaki and used in their great expeditions towards the exploration of their other lands. Instead, Oregon's Greys followed a similar road, but on the Custody side. With the great difference, the Orion's Greys were reveled when the human survey existed. The death of his great leader, chants of deep hatred towards custodians for the task of taking care of lands, a bandera. Several battles existed among them. What facilitated but the power of the great Tartary, land now give, while never ever achievement have them of allies, as they hate human beings. The truth of that, if I existed bio of technology among gray and human leaders, but they fell into the hands of the elite, and it was Ron used against and for the destruction of the race itself. You can find the gray beings also in the Mars land, which it is a large land. It's such control, and the and Tenaki control as many as controlled. That's written really bad. The human colony ally faced in several opportunities against Greys, but were defeated in all of those battles. They used the cloning to subsist as race and are very robotic beings in their functions. They are lack of any type of emotion or empathy. They were very close to being totally exterminated in the past. And that was chapter 14. Then we have chapter 15, the Pleiades. The Palladians are very close to the known lands. They are very high beings that guarantee physical similarity with the Nordic. It is noticed that the ancestors survived the Battle of Asgard against the Custodians and then stairs to those lands in the Pleiades. They are generally benevolent to human beings, but made a peace pact with the Anunnaki due rating an early age of its development. They are based on their own development and spirituality and improve their living conditions. His circle environment is believed to be manipulated by the Anunnaki from almost his beings. For that reason, they suffer natural teachers every time, trying to improve current situation, although their lands seem to destroy ascended. It is believed that this was implanted to force them to have to escape from Allah and look for refuge in Tai known rays. While many of these beings visited the known continents, especially in the north, and come for Asgard, they do not feel comfortable living with humans. They were looking for other alternatives, but they were a failure. They did not have only lived in any of the lands that are behind the walls of mountains. Those beings did not help human beings in Great War, although not the custodians, they simply kept the margin well. There is a good relationship with the giants. They do not see them with good eyes as allies, since they prove not to be interested in the humanity at times of delicious history. Anyways, its great spiritual advance is worthy of learning. They are beings that could help the humans quite on their way. And lastly, there are more Palladians by entering the known lands. It's estimated that in the near future that they could immigrate in large quantities to coexist in these lands, accepting certain custodial conditions. It takes this to be this at this moment. And that was chapter 15.
So the giants are pretty easy people to get along with, pretty much,
Yeah,
in
so
that chapter.
yeah, to some of the races like the Palladians, the giants were very they were very friendly and they helped as much as they could.
But the Orions, the Greys, are not that nice.
No. And the Greys are what we know as the little gray alien beings.
Yep.
Okay.
So what are your thoughts on on what we just read, crew?
Well, okay, so it makes sense about the Greys because the tall Greys, right?
Yes.
They are hostile to us because if you go near them, they're very territorial. They don't like being bothered. And it makes complete sense because of the fact that they like their space. And um, that is one thing I've come to learn, and I don't want to come across a big gray because they are mean. And
Those are
they're from
alien
the
gray
lands of Orion.
They kind of look like aliens.
because they are aliens. They're alien
Yeah.
gray.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, Julie, they are aliens. They anything outside of the known lands are aliens. We would be considered aliens to whatever lands if we decided to go travel to a different land, we would be considered the
Yeah.
aliens to them. So, but the lands of Orion is one of those I would stay away from. That would be a green version of a gray.
Yeah.
And they're a lot more hostile. Way more hostile.
That looks like something like the Roswell alien or something.
So, and then we got the lands of what was it? The lands of Pleiades.
Mm-hmm.
And what were those ones again? The Nordics,
The Palladians.
the Palladians. All right, could you pull up a Palladian?
Yeah.
So who are the Palladians again?
I'm about to pull one up for you to see. If I can find one. Okay, I think I got one right here for you.
So a Palladian, Julie, is basically a Nordic.
Okay.
They look more like us.
Yes, they do.
And they're very wise.
And then here's your giants, Julie.
Okay.
So, in the Terra Infinita lands, crew, what does the world look like? We've gone over this before, but for the people that this is the first episode of Terra Infinita that they've seen, explain what the Earth and everything else looks like in the Terra Infinita world.
Okay, so it's a map within the Great Dome. And it's 178 worlds or lands inside of a Great Dome, and they're all connected via water. And they're different domes with only certain ways in and certain ways out. And they're all monitored by the custodians and the Anunnaki. And if you could pull up the map real quick, brother. So that's what the Tara Infinita map looks like. And ours is right in the center.
I'm going to pull up a picture of ours. Oh, if I can.
So that big old white circle that's surrounding all those lands is known as the Great Dome. And anything beyond that is unknown territory.
None of these are like savable, man. It's ridiculous.
Right.
Like I have to find one that's actually savable, and that's harder than you'd think.
Could you try to zoom in on this one?
No, but I got you. I just found one.
Okay.
Sorry, it took me a second.
All good. Okay, so this is the known lands. This is ours. So we're inside that circle, the ice wall. That's what it's called. It's the ice wall. That's basically Antarctica. And anything outside of that, inside the mountain ring, you got Asgard in the very top. You got Genemia. You got ancient lands of Anak. You got the Neptunian Sea Ocean. You got Liberus. You got Ancestral Republic. You got Pitatia. And then what's that one? Is that the Moving Lands of Thoth?
Yeah, they're rolling lands of Thoth.
Yeah, okay, thank you. So basically, we cannot leave the known lands, and only a few have, supposedly. William Morris being one of them back
Admiral
in the
Byrd.
Admiral Byrd being another, yep. And then William Morris's daughter, who was born in the Ancestral Republic, went back to the known lands. And William Morris was told he was not able to leave once he went outside to outside of the ice wall. And it gets hectic from there. Like Rob, you read that first one, right?
Oh yeah, how they find their way outside of the ice wall, and then they come to find out that there's people on the other side, and they tell him your side is basically a prison. Once you get out to the other side, you basically have all of your God-given free rights.
Yup. And if they go back and they find out, a great reset would happen again. So apparently the known lands has had many resets. So it gets hectic.
Yeah. And I have a question.
Okay.
Since it's if it's forbidden to go outside, I mean, not to go outside the ice wall, then how come people have still made it across there? Like that Admiral Byrd, how did he get
was
all
on a
that
mission.
research?
He was on a mission. If you're on a certain mission and you get credentials, you can. But
he was allowed to, supposedly.
Yeah, he was. That was he was one of the only few allowed to. Now,
And then I guess he came back with the information, but they didn't like it.
he
They
has a
didn't like
journal.
all that information that he
So
liked.
he had a journal, right? That he basically hid, that had all the information that he had. After that, I think they did find the journal. I don't remember. What's that one?
This is supposedly the true map of Earth.
Oh, wow.
So we reside in the very middle.
Right.
We are the center. And then there's an ice wall surrounding us. Admiral Byrds supposedly made it over the ice wall into the second lands, but he also claimed that he went into the center of the Earth and saw what crew?
Nordics.
He saw the hollow Earth.
Yeah, the Hollow Earth, and he came across Nordics as well.
Were they Nordics or were they Palladians?
They were Palladians, which are basically Nordics, but
Okay.
they go. But so Hollow Earth, Julie, it would be more North Pole than South Pole.
Yeah.
That's where he went, and just like the South Pole, the North Pole has a no-fly zone.
Because of this right here.
Yep.
That's a giant hole, Julie.
I see.
It's blacked out on Google Earth now. If you believe in that kind of thing.
Not really. Not yet. I'm not a flat earther like Crew. Not yet, anyway.
Well, okay. So, a flat Earth and Hollow Earth are semi-connected. Now, when you ask a bunch of pilots, right, that are flying, they tell you they don't see no curvature.
They tell you there is no curvature.
Yeah, they'll tell you there's no curvature because they don't see it. Now, others have proven with water as well, right? When you use water in a certain way, it lines up, right? Now, when you use your camera and you line it up with the water, right, after you poured it, and you connect it with the reflection, there's a line. There's no curvature.
Supposedly.
Supposedly, yes. Now, people have done tests over the years, in the 2000s, like late 2000s, where they would put an air balloon, right?
Well,
Or a balloon on like cameras.
You know what's in the center of the North Pole.
What?
The hollow Earth. The thing that's in the center of the North Pole is this. It's Agartha. This is hollow Earth.
Yeah.
So at each end of the poles, guys, at each end of the poles, you have holes, okay? Admiral Byrd said he flew over the North Pole and into the hole that he saw. And when he got into the hole, he said he saw all sorts of crazy things. We're talking mammoths, possible dinosaurs. He was escorted by 2 Nordic UFOs that had swastikas on them. Like, he went into deep, like, he got deep about it, but a lot of people say that the notebook or the diary that Admiral Byrd had was fraudulent. Okay, so they said that the son or the daughter of Admiral Byrd got their hands on the diary, and they were the ones who twisted stuff and wrote it and changed everything. But the weird thing about Byrd is, why did the government actually care so much about him if he wasn't telling the truth?
No, that makes sense.
Right.
Agartha. So in the middle of Agartha here, you can see there's a sun in the middle of Agartha. Now the weird thing about Agartha is like, and you see all this orange stuff right here, right? that is
Yeah.
around like the blue hits, like all the orange that's around here, those are lava pools. So that would be your magma. That explains why there's magma in the earth, supposedly, but it doesn't go that far down.
Mm.
So the volcanoes are supposedly in the midsection of Earth. And if you just go a little bit further down into the true center of Earth, then you would get to Agartha.
And the sun in the middle, Julie, that would be the core.
Yeah.
That would be considered the core. And so basically, you know how nobody has ever been able to find the Garden of Eve?
It's in the
Eden?
North
Yeah, because
Pole.
we're not supposed to.
It's the North Pole.
That's the North Pole.
Yeah.
So, anything beyond that, inside the hole, is Agartha.
Yes.
So basically, government's hiding it from us because they don't want us to know. They don't want us to know the truth. We've known the truth for so long. A lot of us don't want to believe it. They've gotten to the point, Julie, that back in the day, we used to have flat Earth maps, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well,
people were
right
still being taught
when
that the Earth was flat in the 60s, homie.
yeah,
There is
when
proof that there were schools that were teaching that the Earth
yeah,
was flat in the 60s. So
yeah,
it's
but,
a weird concept here.
right.
Yeah, and then
So
when you were talking about the core of the earth, I remember being taught that.
okay. So there's this book, right, that goes deep down in discussion of things that were changed over history, right, Julie?
Yeah.
And it goes deep to the point where it points out that now they're introducing the Earth as a globe, not a flat Earth, because uh, everybody knew about the firmament back in the day, but the government decided to change things because of the fact that they're corrupt and they don't want people to know the truth. And when that started happening, they started doing that right after they came up with the treaty.
Yeah. But hey, when had the government ever been not corrupt?
Exactly.
I mean, you never know when they're really being honest anyway.
Right.
This is supposedly the Garden of Eden.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, for real, like, a lot of people believe this. A lot of people believe that this is exactly what the North Pole looks like.
Wow.
Right.
And the Garden of Eden, I've always been taught that there are angels guarding it because with flaming swords, because us Christians are not supposed to be, it's been blocked off by God. So we can't really see the Garden of Eden right now.
Well, there's people that believe that the Garden of Eden is actually in a different dimension, and the only way to get to it is through a portal that is actually where the hole is in the middle of the earth.
Wow.
So that Agartha would probably be the true Garden of Eden.
Yep.
That's at least what I've always been told, and what I've always kind of like saw for myself.
So if you do your research, right, and you dig deep and you keep digging and you want to go down that rabbit hole, right, it only makes sense. Now, a lot of people will argue with you and say, oh, no, that's nonsense, blah, 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 blah. We don't want to believe you because of this. We were taught this. You're wrong. Because they're scared to believe the truth.
Yeah.
Well, there's
And
people that are just never going to give flat Earth a time of just any time at all in court.
right.
Right? They would never allow that because they think that is minuscule or idiotic.
And this is what I've said. Okay.
So this is the center of the North Pole, man. That's a
Yeah.
mountain.
Right.
Why aren't we allowed to see the mountain?
That's my thoughts exactly too. But the only reason they will not get okay, so I've said this. The only reason Earth would be considered a globe, in a sense, would be the fact that the firmament.
Yeah.
That's the only way. There's no other possible way that, okay, look. A lot of people will say I'm stupid or crazy for thinking the way I'm thinking. But over the years, I've been doing my research constantly. I've I'm not really what you would consider a extreme lefty when it comes to flat Earth. I'm not really a lefty when it comes to flat Earth. I like learning about it. I'm starting to I believe it. I believe it's there. I believe it's true because with how much information and research I've done, it makes more sense. And yes, I even consider Hollow Earth because that also makes sense because of what Rob has said. And I've done my research on that and it makes sense too. So flat Earth and Hollow Earth are connected 100%. People need to wake up and do their research and not just say, oh, well, it's not believable. We're going to believe this. Yada, yada. No. There's a dome to separate the waters from above from the waters from below. It's in the Bible.
Yes.
It's real. It's called a firmament. Christians who are too scared to believe it, it's true. We have two suns. That was proven. Rob proved that the other day.
Yeah, I mean, I took a picture that it doesn't look like a glare. It looks like we have some kind of second sun.
Yes.
But it's an odd photo, and I can't tell you if that's exactly what it is, but it's definitely a weird photo. And I've seen other things that other people have been posting about second suns, and it makes sense.
Right. Because here's the thing.
And
People
then
in
God said,
Antarctica
"Let there
has
be a
even said they've
firmament
seen
in the
the
midst
second
of the
sun.
waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters." And God called the firmament heaven.
Yeah. And thinking of the sun, my cousin took a picture at the beach of the sun, and it looked red.
Did it?
Yeah.
If it looked red, it was probably because of the time of day.
Probably, because it was, I think it's sunset, maybe.
Yeah.
I know she took, I know some sunsets and sunrises. What's this one up? Oh, okay.
It's what Crew's trying to explain to everybody.
Yeah. So this is basically a depiction of the firmament. So you got the what? There's basically two firmaments. You got to separate the waters from above from the waters from below. Above the firmament, the one that where it says basically in the middle part, above that's
Yeah.
heaven.
Yep.
So that's basically the depiction of it in this version of said picture. There's many different depictions of the firmament. It's a complex topic. really hard topic to get into because it gets into a lot of arguments and debates, and it's not one of those that people need to argue and debate because here's the thing that okay, and this one is actually another depiction of the firmament and Earth.
Yeah.
So this is how you would consider it kind of like a globe, but it's not a globe. It's a flat plane with a dome over it, which is the dome is the firmament. So you can call it either a dome or a firmament because that's basically what it is. And um, basically, people just need to accept this. I mean, I'm not telling people what to believe and what not to believe. It's their choice, but this is just it's been proven. It's out there. And I don't like getting in arguments with this with people because of the fact that it's pointless and I've accepted it. Rob's now believing in it. And that tells you something. Because he's more of a hollow earther.
Yeah, I feel like flat Earth definitely has some pull behind it. A lot of people don't like flat Earth because they think it's absolutely ridiculous and diabolical, and they don't understand how the world could ever be flat. Which I mean, I totally understand to a point. I used to be a globe tard like nobody's business. I corrected everybody when they tried to tell me the Earth was flat, but the more I look at the subject, man, the more I look at the statistics, the more I look at the things that people talk about, the more I'm like, is it really a globe, or are we just saying it is because that's what we want to believe?
Right.
It's odd. I mean, it's one of those things that makes you really wonder.
Yeah, it does.
See, okay, I've been on this topic for so long. Even before me and Rob did the even did this on the podcast. And it took me a while to get Rob to see my point on this. And I let Rob I just left it alone and I said, all right, you can do your research, do what you do. He did. And now he's seeing what I'm seeing. And I got JD to start believing. And Julie, okay. Everything that we've talked about throughout this entire podcast, every season on this specific subject, I want you to tell me your thoughts as of now.
Oh, excuse me. Well, I always believed in the globe. That's what I was taught. But I've always been interested in this type of stuff too. And then I that guy that we just mentioned, what's his name?
Richard Admiral Byrd.
Yes, I've heard that name, and I'm like, it's familiar, but it's coming back a little bit. After listening to him, and I'm like, I remember hearing some of this stuff. So why didn't they teach it more? Why did they just only teach about the globe?
Okay, so back in the day, they didn't teach about the globe, right? They didn't.
Well, when I was in school, in first and second grade, they did.
They okay. Well, before your time, Julie. I'm talking about way before your time.
Yeah.
They didn't, and then they back. I don't. I believe they started teaching right around in the 70s that everything was a globe.
Yeah.
So something happened where they decided to switch things into new. So this is kind of like I wouldn't put it in the Mandela effect kind of like, thing.
Yeah.
Because there is books out there that, like the book I talked about earlier, and then there's a book that Rob showed on in a video on the Tartaria Part 1 episode, where this girl showed a book from the old times that had basically all these different continents, and Tartaria was in the book as a continent, different Tartarias.
Wow. Yeah, it's
And,
always interesting.
and it's gotten to the point where there's a lot of people who are so extreme about their beliefs who don't want to believe in the truth because they were taught certain things, they believe certain things, so they don't want to go out of their comfort zone.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not afraid to get out of my comfort zone and do my research. And I'm passionate when I do my research, and I literally get so passionate about a topic, and I will tell you, I will go off the rail, and I can go hours on end in a debate about a certain topic.
Oh yeah, for sure. This is a picture of the supposed diary,
Right.
Okay.
and this picture was of Admiral Byrd.
Right. Like like Rob just said, Julie. Yeah, for sure. Because me and Rob gotten in. What was that one extreme topic that I was so passionate about? Not flat Earth, but what was it?
Tartaria?
No.
Oh man, I can't remember.
It was a specific topic that we got in a huge debate on, right? And it was outer space. That's what it was.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. Do we know that they really went?
no, they haven't, Julie.
I know. I had to throw that out there.
Right. So I was so passionate about this, right? And I kept saying, no, we've never been to the moon. We've never been to outer space. There's no point. The firmament so
Yeah,
what's the
because
word?
there's a video, I just seen it last week.
Impenetrable. That's what it is. That's the word. The firmament so I came to the word again.
Impenetrable?
Impenetrable.
Impenetrable. Yeah, that word. It's so hard to struck and break that everybody's nowadays are trying to find a way to break the glass wall.
Yeah.
Or the glass ceiling is how Hillary worded it.
Yeah.
If we didn't go to the moon, then how do we get these pictures?
Yeah.
Why
That
is
was
the
all,
flag,
then,
that was
why
like
all
is
I
the
done in
flag
the
said,
waving?
studio.
Why is
like
the
I was
flag waving?
saying, there was that video I watched last week where
Why?
somebody shared a video of apparently, allegedly, they were in space. And you know how in space you have to be kind of moving around?
Yeah.
Well, they had a table with a glass of water, and it was not moving. It was sitting on the table. I'm
Yep.
like, you can't have a glass of water sitting on a table in space.
Well, here's the other thing. Here's the other thing that we also gotta point out there. How can we go to outer space when we got the Ryan belt? the Ryan belt is so radiated that within contact, you're screwed. Rob, am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at the glass of water, crew.
Yeah. See, it's not floating.
Yep. And then aren't you supposed to be wearing masks?
Yes.
Well, they're inside of the space shuttle. They're supposed to be okay when they're inside of the space shuttle. They don't have to wear things when they're inside the space shuttle.
Okay. I was just thinking about that for a moment.
The only way that they would have to wear something, Julie, is if a malfunction happens and they and like let's say something struck the shuttle, right? The space station or whatever,
Yeah.
and they would have to wear suits plus the helmets because of a malfunction that basically made it to where the oxygen started depleting.
Yeah. Yeah. Because if they were really in space right now in that picture, that glass of water would not be sitting there like that.
Right.
Unless they're doing a training exercise, then I could say that, but
Yeah, but that's what they always say, is that it's a training exercise. But why are you doing so many training exercises in the water?
yeah. Doesn't make sense. It does not make sense.
Why'd y'all build an entire space station under the water?
Right.
Just for training purposes.
Right. So we are almost at the 15-minute mark. Can we get our sponsor?
I don't think people understand just how messy Bigfoot gets. Mud, moss, mystery stains. His laundry's legendary. But now he's got a secret weapon. Watch as Bigfoot wrestles a puny detergent. Oops, there goes the cap. Enter Sasquatch Suds. With Yeti-strength cleaning power and pine-scented freshness, even his fluffiest fur sparkles. Now, Bigfoot struts past campers. Wait, is that envy or just amazement? Sasquatch Suds, for fur and duds.
For fur and duds. Did you get your Sasquatch Suds, crew?
Yes, I have.
You better have. Did you
No,
get yours,
yeah.
Julie?
Yes, that did.
I bought about 25 more bottles.
Oh,
I bought about 20 more.
I gotta be clean, man.
yeah, you
Sasquatch
have to
Suds
be, and all this
keep it
heat
clean.
and humidity.
Oh my god, yeah, it's terrible for the beard.
I bet so.
Watch Suds, man, they get the job done.
Yeah.
Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Tara Infinita.
Is there any unexplored land left on this earth that might appeal to adventurous young Americans?
Yes, there is. And not up around the North Pole, because it's getting crowded up there now, because they find out it's really usable, not only to live in, but militarily. But strangely enough, there's left in the world today an area as big as the United States that's never been seen by a human being. And that's beyond the pole, on the other side of the South Pole, from Middle America. And I think it's quite astonishing that there should be an area as big as that unexplored.
That's a tremendous
So
challenge.
there's a lot of adventure left down at the bottom of the world.
Well, Admiral, do you hope to see that?
I do.
Good
So that's
old
Admiral Byrd, and we actually seen this video before on this series.
That's good old Admiral Byrd.
Yeah.
Yep.
Dropping a camera to the bottom of Antarctica? No way. That's insane. How far does it go? What? It's still going down. What the heck?
Is that supposed to be a drone?
No.
No, I think it's a camera that they put into a drill hole that they drilled into the ice in Antarctica
Oh, okay.
when they cored it.
The ice
The
wall.
cameramen who made this picture, I want to give full credit. They did not hesitate to risk their lives at their job. And now first, I want to tell you briefly the difference between the top and the bottom of the world. Now the North Pole is the center of a deep ocean, whereas the South Pole is the center of a high plateau which averages 7,000 or 8,000 feet in altitude. Many species of flowers can be found at Etah, whereas around the South Pole, except for some very primitive plants, there is no life whatever beyond the edge of the continent. It is cold and silent and dead. There are no Eskimo. It is too cold for human beings to live there permanently. In fact, the only permanent resident is the emperor penguin, and he doesn't go beyond the edge of the continent. In fact, the only permanent resident is the emperor penguin, and he doesn't go beyond the edge of the continent. Go beyond the edge of the continent. At the top of the world.
That dude said the edge
Well,
of the
there's our
continent.
penguin.
He said the edge. Julie, there's an edge.
Okay.
I'm
The
saying
edge.
back to them, like, just trust me.
What?
I was saying to the edge of the continent.
Yeah, apparently there's an edge.
Interesting.
I'm saying back to them, like, just trust me. You guys don't understand, right? Like, we've been lied to. Trust me, you'll see what's ahead. They're going, buddy, you don't know what you're talking about. Oh, we're just going to come back up around the other side of the globe. You know, they're telling me we're going to hit the Indian Ocean, Australia, right? They were thinking in terms of the global model. But this is where it gets crazy, you know, as they realize I ain't stopping. One of the other pilots says to me, he goes, listen, you land that thing now, we sign an NDA and go home, act like this never happened. But go ahead, continue forward if you must, but just know it's a one-way ticket. You ain't ever coming back.
What did you do?
What I set out to. I could see the wall by this point. There was no turning back. And as I fly over the wall, the other jets behind me just hit wide pivots to turn around, and the pilot radios me one last time. He goes, crazy son of a... Good luck, kid. And I mean, look, I just soar off into no man's land. I'm baffled. I'm seeing land masses that have never been accounted for. The navigational equipment on the jet is no longer working, but I know as long as I stay due south, I'll reach Panthea. I'll reach the dark continent. And lo and behold, 30 or so hours later, sun goes down and it never comes back up. I start to drop my altitude to get a better view, and there she was. I saw the dark lands. I saw everything that Hemington had spoke of. Look, I landed the jet on a clear landscape, and before I even had a chance to get out, there they were. the pantheons Hemington spoke of, stepping in slowly. I mean, they were literally surrounded.
What's that from?
So if they really landed there and they were told they could never come back, then they must have come back because they were able to tell us what they saw.
Pantheons came back with him.
Did you guys ever hear the story about the Nord that went and testified in Congress?
Mm.
The Nordic
No, I
alien
haven't heard about that.
supposedly that testified in front of Congress?
Yeah, I haven't heard about that.
Yeah, here, let me show you.
Hey, Elm Street said the Game of Thrones. I don't know. IMAO.
Let me see. No, there was one about a supposed. It just takes me. It's like they got rid of it because now it just takes me to that David Grush guy who keeps testifying in Congress about UFOs. But back in the day, there was a supposed alien that testified in Congress. As weird as that sounds.
Right.
Yeah, now I just sound crazy and I can't find it.
Oh, I believe you. They probably took it down.
No, it was an older story, and it was a supposed, like, I think it happened supposedly during like either the Nixon or the Reagan administration. But that, like I said, it's all bullshit and it's bad for you because like even if it was a supposed real thing, like
It's a harmful conspiracy.
of course the government would want to like hide that.
Oh yeah.
As of right now, it's a harmful conspiracy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because didn't you share some videos about something similar? Or is that something else? I can't remember
I don't remember if we did or not.
Yo guys, you're not going to believe this, but they say this map right here is the real map that the powers that be have been keeping from us. And they say it's 178 worlds on this map. Let's get a closer look at this. So they say that we are in the middle, and that's the ice wall. And these are the lands beyond the ice wall. Now let's look at some of the names of these lands. So here's some lands on one side of the ice wall. Atum, Atien, that's the name of the ocean up there at the top, Ocean of Nu. Now here's the east side of the ice wall. You have this ocean and these lands right here. And here are some more lands. As you can see, Isis, Osiris, and check this out, guys, human colony. Now, this map is from this book called The Lands of Mars, 178 Worlds Under the Great Dome. You can get this book on Amazon. So, guys, please do your own research. Check this out, because I know this sounds crazy. Go check out the book, do your research. Peace, get woke, and keep rising.
That was one of the newer ones you sent me, Crew.
Yeah, I sent you that one.
Oh, well, I think both of you sent it to me.
I didn't send you that one.
You sent me a whole bunch, dude.
Yeah, but I didn't send you that one because.
Okay. Because some of the ones that you and Julie sent me were the same.
Hey, Elm Street said, Robert, look up day. The Earth stood still. Clip 4/5. That's what I think you're talking about.
Maybe. No, I don't think this is the same thing I was talking about. Interesting enough.
We appreciate it, though, Elm Street.
Yeah. I don't think that's what I was talking about. It's like a legitimate story I've heard, but The Day the Earth Stood Still is absolutely a great film.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember. And every time I type it in, like, of course, it's not going to pull anything up. And like, I look it up, and it's like, what?
They probably took it down.
Well, it's an older story, and it's of some dude who claimed that he was an alien, and he supposedly would go to like government hearings, and he would talk, and he claimed that he was Valiant Thor. Valiant Thor. Okay,
Okay.
Valiant Thor, the alien from Venus, during the Eisenhower administration. Eisenhower invited the alien Thor, Valiant Thor, to live at the Pentagon.
Wow.
Perhaps you've heard of A Stranger at the Pentagon, a book by a man named Dr. Frank E. Stranges, who held a top secret security clearance at the Pentagon. But have you actually looked into it? Stranges tells the story of how on March 16th, 1957, an alien ship landed in the town Alexandria in Virginia. Aboard the craft were 4 extraterrestrial beings, one of whom's name was Valiant Thor. Val was eventually invited to live at the Pentagon on VIP status for 3 years by President Eisenhower. And during that time, he met up with several high-level government officials, including Richard Nixon. Dr. Stranges says in 1958 he came into possession of a photograph of an extraterrestrial named Valiant Thor, and his second in command female officer named Jill. Dr. Stranges took the photograph to UFO conferences and said that Val, Thor, and Jill were extraterrestrials from the planet Venus. His seemingly weird, wild tale drew the attention of the authorities, and Dr. Stranges was contacted by a Pentagon official named Nancy Warren, who told him that Val himself had requested to meet with him. Dr. Stranges happily accepted the invitation and met with Val, who explained to him that he and his three-person crew arrived on March 16, 1957, in Alexandria, Virginia. When Nancy Warren landed in Alexandria, accompanied by Dr. Stranges, they were met by two police officers who brought them to the Pentagon. Val would meet with Neil H. McElroy and the Secretary of Defense at the time, President Eisenhower and Vice President Nixon. Dr. Stranges claims that Val and his team met with senior government officials, including Air Force commanders, on several occasions and gave them advice and policy on how to deal with other extraterrestrial beings. Dr. Stranges goes on to explain how a friendship was developed between himself and Val, who even saved his life on several occasions. He said Val was a leader from Venus, where he came from, and came to Earth to help overcome some of the issues that were threatening the planet. Dr. Stranges has several photos documenting the story, including pictures of Valiant Thor. He describes how Val told him that he came from Venus, where his people live under the planet's surface. He is said to have six fingers and 6 toes, 1 lung, and a larger brain than humans. Val even took Dr. Stranges aboard his craft and showed him the assassination of Kennedy through viewing device, and said that he warned him not to run for office. He also said that Thor had a way of using mind control abilities that allowed him to mimic a Pentagon badge and even walk through walls. Val even offered to show President Eisenhower how to heal people without the use of medicine, but he declined and said it would destroy the economy. Dr. Strange also tells of how the men in black followed him and even tried to kill him on several occasions. And if it were not for Valiant Thor intervening, they would have succeeded. One such attempt left Dr. Stranges in the hospital with a broken neck after a car accident caused by the alleged men in black. He said Val came to the hospital bed and prayed over him, and a few hours later he walked out of that hospital. He should have never even been able to walk. Another one of the men in black incidents included Val using his abilities to vaporize the tires of a men in black's car following them. And that's the alleged story, but it's Valiant.
That sounds like a Marvel story. You kept saying Doctor Strange and then Thor.
No, it's Valiant Thor is real. He so it's a crazy story, bro. Like his name is actually Valiant Thor, and I'll show you a picture of him.
Okay.
This dude is crazy. He claimed to be an alien, and supposedly he showed his alien ship to this guy or whatever, to this Dr. Strange is. And Dr. Strange's name is, yeah, sure, that's weird, but it's Strange is. It's not Strange. It's
Okay.
Dr. Strange is. Like Strange and then ES at the end. But this is the photo of Valiant Thor. So he is Valiant Thor. And he is actually a real person. So
that's what I was thinking. He's a
it's
real
not
person.
it's not a Marvel story. I wish it was. I found this a very long time ago, going down a rabbit hole of like aliens and stuff, and the Eisenhower story. A Valiant Thor came up, and pretty insane. I'm going to bring you up another photo of this man. If I can. Yeah. Here's another one of them, supposedly. Oh, I can't save that image. Gosh dang it.
Hmm.
Um, that's a really bad Photoshop. There's a Photoshop of Eisenhower sitting next to a gray alien. It's quite funny,
Elm
actually.
Street said, I just looked it up. It says he's not real.
Valiant
No.
Thor.
Yeah, that's what Elm Street said.
I heard that story a long time ago. That story's been around forever. And supposedly, I mean, even if it's not real, props to whoever made it because government officials have quoted that story, including David Grush, the guy who claims that the Pentagon has always known that aliens were real and that we have aliens in government right now that control certain aspects of our world. And that's a Pentagon official that's came out multiple times going, yes, aliens are here. Yes, aliens run half of the government. Yes, aliens do this. And it's not only the United States government. Believe me, if they work with us, they work with Russia and China too.
Elm Street said some Venusian people love it. LMAO. Those Venus people don't really be around today.
Yeah, well, see, I always thought that it probably was a real guy, but he was probably lying. He was probably making up some crazy ass story to be a part of something insane.
Yeah.
But like you don't know. Like I never met any of these people. I just go by what I've read online, which is honestly brain rot when it's past like a certain year. Because anybody can change anything or make anything sound sexy. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Did we see this
What was
one?
weird about Antarctica? There's nothing there. You can't go to the interior of Antarctica, which is where we were. But it's on an ice field. There's no insects. There's no wildlife. The sun doesn't go down.
How much food do they have up there?
As much as you could possibly want. They'll have a presentation every night. They'll come back in subsequent years and give talks on where they went and how they avoided these crevasses, which I had no fear of until I went to Antarctica and got the brief on crevasses, which is just, you're dead. They'll never find you again. And the camp is, of course, surrounded by them.
So how deep are they?
Hundreds of feet deep.
Sometimes people just fall into them?
Oh, yeah. This is a guy who fell into one skiing. This is...
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, yeah. I mean, so you can't even see the bottom. He stops himself. This guy self-arrests.
Oh, fuck.
I mean, like, who knows how much farther down.
How did he get back out?
He might have self-rescued. Or he could have been...
Self-rescued is a terrible fucking phrase.
Or if he hadn't self-arrested and had gone down hundreds of more feet.
Broken his legs, broken his neck, died like that.
Bro, that would be ridiculous. I don't want to fall all the way through a crevasse and break every bone on the way down until I die.
Yeah.
That would be a horrible way to die.
Yeah, it would
Street
be.
said, hold on. But yeah, you're right about that. I wouldn't want to die either. Elm Street said, did you know Neptune has a ring like Saturn? My theory is Neptunians exist because the ring around it is north-south.
That's cool. I didn't know that about Neptune.
Yeah, me neither. That's pretty
I
interesting.
thought that Saturn had the giant rings. And technically, if you were on Saturn, you wouldn't see the rings. Did you know that? The rings of Saturn are just dust and rock. So you would just see rocks floating in the atmosphere of Saturn if they were close enough. If they weren't close enough, I think it would have to be really dark too, which maybe you could see the rings depending on light. But being on the surface of Saturn, I've heard that you wouldn't even actually see the rings from the surface off. But which one is just a giant ball of gas? Which planet is that? Jupiter? Or which planet is the giant ball of gas? Supposedly, it's just gas.
I think it's Jupiter. But Elm Street said, Elm Street said Jupiter. Elm Street said, have you ever seen the largest / deepest hole in Russia? The thought of that frightens me. Elm Street also said Kola borehole.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be followed. Y'all know my fear of falling in holes.
Yeah, no thank you.
Yeah, same.
Oh, yeah, that's creepy.
He said they tried to drill to the center of the earth for what reason? IMAO.
They were trying to find Hollow Earth.
Probably.
Trying to find an image that I can show everybody because it's crazy. Oh my god, how come none of these images are savable? The hole is crazy.
And Julie, it's not IMAO, it's LMAO.
LMAO, laugh my ass off.
Yeah.
Heat stomped them and then EMPs.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Yeah.
And it just goes down and down and down and down and down and down and down.
Oh my goodness.
There's
No,
cooler
thank
pictures
you.
of it. There's cooler pictures of it, but I can't save them and show them on StreamYard because they're the wrong file type.
Yeah.
Great Dome. Before going into each of the worlds, it is necessary to make a caveat and clarify what the Great Dome means, and what we mean when we mention it. The Great Dome, or also called the end of the known, is that which covers and encloses in some way all the other known worlds. Very few were able to see this end and even touch it. Can it really be touched? Moreover, it is said that some experiments were made to be able to cross it, but it was not possible. It is the terror of several colonizing civilizations that do not sleep peacefully. Since any race from outside could take away from them from one day to the other the power that they maintain in that hierarchical pyramid that they themselves built during history. Another world that generates terror for them is the Celestial Lands, but we will have time to detail this mysterious place that has a great relationship with the human being. In this Great Dome, there are 178 worlds, or circle environments, which in turn may have one or several domes that also enclose them with their different climates and civilizations. Penetrating these domes of each circle is not an easy task. As time went by, the technique was perfected, and now there is a lot of technology to carry it out, but this was developed exclusively by colonizing races. Many other races explored surrounding these worlds, or simply the independent lands, lacking domes. These domes are almost impossible to cross via air, and almost always another way is sought by land.
I think it's funny
But the
when
most
people
common
come
is
in
that it
here
can
and
be
start
done through
shit.
water, which is where they are more easily found, the way to open passages that can connect the inner-outer worlds, almost like two membranes in any cell, functioning as a barrier that can allow at a certain time the passage.
Get these
When
three
you have
clowns
greater
out of
control to
here.
be
How
able
about
to
you take
penetrate
your
some
ass out
specific
of here
domes,
if you're
it
not
can be done
enjoying
via air
yourself?
without
Sounds
much
like you're having
inconvenience,
fun
although it
trolling
can be
us.
quite dangerous for reasons that we will see later. Much
I
later,
love it.
many portals were found
Keep
in
it
several
coming,
circle
brother.
environment, connecting even several of the worlds. The manipulation of these portals was
Go
so
buy
great
yourself a
that many
Labubu
problems were
and go
caused,
back
and
home.
some became unstable, making some beings have disappeared without knowing where they really went, or if this caused
Madison,
that, their
Ivan,
matter has
King, or whatever the hell your name is.
disintegrated. Today it is common to find beings in full development of portals that can connect certain areas within the Great Dome, without ever having been able to penetrate it. When we speak of the 178 worlds, we are not referring to the independent lands that exist between worlds. These are lands that exist and were used by various races when
You're
they
right,
go
Elm
outside.
Street.
In fact, It is said that these
No,
lands
it's
exist
funny
to
when
avoid
people
long
have to go
distances
into
that
other
connect the
people's
worlds.
streams and act like
It is
fools.
fervently believed that the worlds were made to investigate them,
Right.
and that all of us, in one way or another, are going to go outside to look for our freedom. To know other races and to be able to enter someday in what can be found in the celestial lands, as well as behind the Great Dome.
The Great Dome. Every time.
Do we got a bot in the chat?
It's not a bot. It's a
It's a troll.
A troll. It's somebody trying to piss everybody off. But I enjoy him being in here because that just makes our stream actually more popular. So it helps us in the long run. Him being
yeah.
whatever to me and Kick, I mean, that's fine. He's allowed to do whatever he wants. I mean, he'll get banned if he says something too ridiculous.
Yeah, but he can have his 15 seconds of shame. Fame, I mean, fame.
no, you're right, though. It is shame. It's 15 seconds of shame.
What's funny is we get more viewers than what they think. So.
Well, it's because they don't understand that we stream to different platforms. But honestly, I don't really care. I actually like. It's funny to see somebody so upset that they continuously comment and they just say ridiculous off the wall things to try to get attention. And
that's all they want. They just want attention.
Us talking about them right now in stream is why they're staying here and why they're doing this is because they're getting the attention they want.
Oh yeah.
And it's childish, but it's all right. It's whatever. Have at it. You don't bother me.
Not at all. Not at all.
Wait, you're telling me there's a whole continent beyond the ice wall?
Not just a continent, an entire civilization. A place completely outside the parameters of our sun.
That's impossible. Nothing can survive without light.
That's what we thought, but Panthea exists, a world of eternal night where life has adapted to the dark in ways we can't even begin to understand.
So what, these people live in caves or something?
Far from it. They've built a thriving society, but one without warmth, without mercy, without the distractions of color and joy. Their capital, Nysara, is a vast metropolis of black stone and bioluminescent crystal, its spires clawing into the sky like jagged monoliths.
That's insane. And you're saying they're human?
Not exactly. They're a biological offshoot of us, something that evolved in complete darkness. Their skin is pale, almost translucent. Their eyes, 5 times the size of ours. Their bones, denser, stronger. They are built for the abyss.
That's horrifying.
It gets worse. They don't just survive the darkness, they feed off it. Energy harvesting farms powered by their own people.
Wait.
You heard me. In Panthea, the weak aren't just discarded, they're consumed.
Trolls, man.
He's so upset.
We're not flat earthers.
He's so upset that we're talking about flat Earth and Tara Infinita. You've got nothing.
We're talking about a book. Okay, for those who have not been paying attention, who don't stream to our other platforms, we're on a book series called Tara Infinita.
Now, don't get me wrong, bro. Crew might be a flat earther, though. You might have gotten that one right. But
me definitely, but no.
At least we're polite, we're nice. We don't come into people's streams and bash them and act like fools and act like 10-year-old kids. Because quite honestly, man, with what you're doing right now, it sounds like you're a 10-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, wow.
A 10-year-old kid who probably rages on Grand Theft Auto.
Do you hear this, dude? He's reverting to violence on stream. He says he's gonna knock you out. Really, this dude doesn't even know anything. Like, listen to him. This is ridiculous.
Do you rage on Grand Theft Auto online?
He says he's 12, not 10, loser.
Oh wow.
That's good for you, bro. I'm so happy you're 12. And you know about flat Earth already. You must got.
Don't you all got a bedtime?
Yeah, you think you would have a bedtime,
well,
right?
hey, you know what? I'd give him credit though. It is summer.
I mean, yeah, but still.
Yeah.
Mama Julie says that he can stay up a little bit later.
Yeah, I mean it is summertime, but it is still in the middle of the night.
No, but you do, man. You do. You fart. You fart all the time. You probably fart everywhere you go, bro. Everywhere you go. This dude's rude.
Yeah.
It's like he's got
I mean,
nothing
kids
better.
are rude nowadays. I mean, think about it.
No, yeah, they don't have no manners.
Man, Elm Street says the man must not have family fun on the 4th of July. Sad. Yeah, no,
Well,
for
here's
real.
the thing, Julie. Kids have no filters nowadays. That's the thing.
No.
That, yeah, they don't have no parents to teach them respect and manners anymore.
No, they
I
don't.
mean,
They don't have parents that own belts.
we do not live in the U.S.
That's fine.
I mean, that's cool. I mean, cool, great.
How
Yeah,
come
I
you
would
can't
love
come
to
into
explore different countries.
How come you can't come into my stream and be nice to everybody and talk to everybody and be like a low key a good human being? Like, how come you got to come in here and insult everybody and call everybody bitches and shit? Like,
We live in Arizona, actually. That's the
well,
U.S.
yeah, it's the U.S., you idiot. But come into the stream and be nice. Try to make friends. I don't care that you're not. Well, you saying you're not a bitch makes you sound like a bitch. So, I mean, I don't care. I'm not here to cuss you out. I'm not here to be upset with you. I'm saying come in here and treat everybody with respect because you you're just coming in here to cause problems. You're not coming in here to do anything else, and you're ruining a stream or trying to ruin a stream, but actually making it quite hilarious for us.
Yeah, making it
Okay,
pretty
Nate says
entertaining.
they're from Canada, Alberta, Sherwood Park. That's actually pretty cool. Canada is a dope country, so
We love Canada.
yeah.
Yeah. I got a lot of good friends out in Canada. One
Yeah,
in Quebec.
is it flat over there, buddy? Is it flat over in Canada?
Yeah, I got a couple of friends over there, man. They're really cool.
Dude,
And
I
I
love
know crew
Canada.
knows them too.
My favorite place though, like, is gotta be Toronto. And besides Toronto, I'm going to like I've been to what's the other one? It's not the French Quarter. It's Nova Scotia.
Oh, that would be a great place to go visit.
I've been there 2, 3 times. I love it.
Oh,
Did
that's
you
nice.
did you know that I had a friend who lives out in Canada who literally showed me via video chat that they sell bags of milk?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
I've
the
seen it.
bagged milk
Remember,
thing
I
is
was
crazy.
there. I was in that chat when she showed me.
Absolutely crazy. It's funny though when people come into our stream and try to make us crash out, they just make our stream a freaking comedy. I absolutely love it because this is going to be wonderful stuff to clip, bro. Like you
Oh, yeah.
how great this is going to be. Like I'm perfectly fine with that.
I mean, it's not going to be as good as my pizza story.
Yeah, the pizza story was wonderful.
No, yeah.
Don't mess with you. I'll mess with you. Come on over here. Come mess with me, bro. Come mess with me. I'm ready for it. I want to get you in the boxing ring like Jake Paul. Let's see how we can do this. Address. I'm not doxing myself online, bro. Get out of here.
Yeah.
It's probably just a kid being a troll who basically can't leave their house.
They get the dumbest
Yeah, he
names
doesn't
ever
have
made.
nothing
Yeah,
better
they
to
do.
do but troll people.
Yeah, you're not supposed to feed the trolls, but occasionally I enjoy feeding the trolls because I like having pets that always come back.
I mean,
yeah.
if you really badly want to go feed the trolls, go to the troll bridge.
Sometimes you got to go to the troll farm, homie.
That too.
Sometimes
Oh,
you just say,
yeah.
fuck the troll bridge. You go right to the troll farm.
I
Bro
think
is
there
not
was
the
a
main
poem
character.
or
I'm the
a
main
book
character.
about those.
If you're the main character, then why do you have to stress so hard that you're the main character? You're not the main character because I'm addressing you. You're actually, if the funny thing right now is technically I'm the main character in my story. Crew's the main character in his story, and Julie's the main character in her story. and you're the NPC.
Yeah, speaking of NPCs, have you ever walked around in a neighborhood and you walk around by people and they don't even acknowledge you? Those are NPCs.
Right.
Yep.
You're not the MC. I'm not the main character. I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm
Hey,
fine
you
with
know what?
being the NPC.
There was a book about the troll bridge.
That's where all the trolls go. That's where that's where these guys and their friends hang out all day and sit there and eat their own shit and just play around until somebody walks in there, and then they try to scare them. And when they fail at it, they have to go onto the internet to make people's lives a living hell.
Oh, yeah.
I can't even see Elm Street's comments because these people keep spamming.
Yeah.
Ban them.
Ban them.
I could. Where is? Just a second. Let me get over here. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
I'm gonna have to figure this out a little bit later, but we have quite a few people spamming chat right now, so I don't know really what to do about that. I'm gonna have to go onto the whole other channel and do something about it. But since I'm connected to StreamYard right now and I'm not going directly through the channel that
Nate
they're commenting
says,
from,
"Be the bigger person." Ban Maddox. Yeah. So
ban which one?
Maddox.
Maddox.
Nate even said it. Yeah.
Dude, ridiculous.
Yeah.
Maddox is banned.
And then Elm said, Nate.
You were breaking up just then.
That's because I flipped my camera real quick because I was gonna see if I could do it, but it's not letting me this time. It normally does.
No, I got them banned. They're off.
Leah even said ban them.
Yeah, I got them off the banned. They're
Cool.
kicked off chat. That's ridiculous, man. I've never been that hardcore hit before with trolls. Trolls
Wow.
just attacking the stream like that. They do need to go to bed. Both of them need to go to bed. I had to ban them, but that's all right. I'm not fretting it. That's just ridiculous. It's like you really have nothing better to do than to jump into somebody's stream and try to cause mayhem. Now I gotta go in there and my goodness, dude.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, they were saying some weird shit to Julie.
Yeah, I wasn't even paying attention.
No, I was
I
trying
didn't
to.
want to.
Yeah, I was not even paying attention to what they were saying to you too, Julie. Don't worry. But
No, not at all. Yeah, no, I'm sorry about that, but you know, we're gonna face things like that sometimes, guys. Sometimes when you stream, depending on what platform you're going off of, specifically like Kick and YouTube, I've had it happen on Twitch too, but sometimes you get trolls or weirdos or freaks into the chat that want to spam it and try to make your stream a living hell. Sometimes I don't mind it. Sometimes I can just ignore it. But when they start saying off the wall shit, yeah, you got to get them out.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right, let's watch this one, crew.
Ladies and gents, welcome back with the Dome and Outer Space Projection. Now look in chapter 24, the hum. Basically is this sound frequency. The phenomenon known as the hum, a low and constant sound, may be associated with the operation of the IDP, the exploration of its origin and characteristics, and the impact it could cause to the inhabitants and possible technological applications is carried out. Hum is an auditory phenomenon perceived by a significant proportion of the population in certain locations in the known lands. This low-frequency sound has been a subject of curiosity and speculation both for its effects on human well-being and its origin from IDP technology. It oscillates between 20 to 60 Hz, with variations in amplitude that seem to correlate with certain dome activities, especially linked to weather manipulation. Not all inhabitants are able to hear it, as it suggests a varied sensitivity possibly related to differences in individual auditory physiology. It is also added that such sound could originate from mechanical and electromagnetic vibrations generated by the dome's projection and maintenance systems. It is also postulated that the internal structures of the dome may act as resonators that amplify these vibrations, which in turn become sound waves perceived by some inhabitants of the different zones. What type of alterations can it generate? Psychological and physical alterations for some. The hum is barely perceptible and not disruptive, but for others it is very different, and negative effects are reported, including auditory discomfort, anxiety, and sleep disturbances. As a result,
So, what's this hum? Where is it coming from?
My thoughts exactly.
That's like when people said that they were hearing stuff in like the middle of the day, and they said it was like the trumpets in the sky from the heavens. What's this hum? Is it like it's like the Earth's vibration, maybe?
Probably. Makes sense.
That's a weird one to think about.
Yeah.
It is. I've heard of stuff like that before.
Hey, bro, to make it easier if we get through that, and since I usually check the chat,
Yeah.
make me a moderator and kick.
Yeah, I can do that. Do you have a way to sign into it?
Yeah, I can just go to the link that you sent me via Facebook Messenger, and I can just go through there.
All right, yeah. Well, from now on, like when we do streams, I can make both of you guys moderators if you want. I don't care.
I'm still having a hard time signing in though.
Don't worry about it, Julie. I'll take care of it until you can figure it out. I know it's your phone probably, like Rob said, so don't worry about it.
All right, we got a couple more videos before it's over.
Can you tell us what's in Antarctica?
So Antarctica is ice, right? But you know what the ice do? When you take it, it cure everything, and it like make you live forever. They made a treaty to say nobody can come there. You can go so far, but you can't get to that ice. The ice is gonna save your life, but they won't let you get it. But they let certain people get it that been here a long time, been living a long time. Y'all don't know it. Y'all keep saying he look like him. He look like him. Yeah, that's him. Everything that you think that's over here, that's coming over here, they say it come from over there. So all the aliens, everything come from over there. Not up, not down, but straight over. The giants come from over there. The dragons come from over there. Everything is over there. That's where I'm going.
Every time I see that dude's videos, I can't take him seriously.
So I'm gonna call him out on his bullshit for a second. You don't want to lick or drink you don't want to lick the ice or eat the ice or drink the water there because of the what?
The viruses and the bacteria that are frozen inside of the ice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sounds like a good way to die.
Yeah. And get very ill.
Oh yeah, that would not be fun at all, would it?
No.
No, not at all.
So what that dude said was absolute bullshit.
Oh, 100%.
In like the 1960s, there was a pilot that flew over Antarctica.
Okay.
And he found a hole in Antarctica.
In the earth? Oh, it just
that led like into the earth.
Damn.
So his claim, I don't know if this is true, but his claim was that he went inside and he saw like a civilization inside of Antarctica.
Oh,
like deep inside the ground, underground.
Yeah.
And he's saying it's in like advanced civilization, like they have that we couldn't even create.
Like robots?
I don't know, because it just says advanced civilization, right?
What does that mean though?
So okay, here's the crazy part though. Here's the crazy part. So he said all of this shit, right? He came out with the news and everything and said it. Then the government silenced him. Like
really?
They told him like he couldn't talk about this shit anymore.
Oh damn.
Yeah.
So that's how you know it's valid, bro.
But like who knows, right? Like
because I've heard the hollow theory, like of the hollow earth.
Yeah.
There's like fairies living there, there's giants, there's all this type of weird stuff.
The fairies and the giants and the mammoths and the dinosaurs that live inside of Hollow Earth, Godzilla and King Kong, maybe even.
Right. Elm Street said, I do agree with Elm Street on this. Actually, you have to boil water in other countries just to be safe. So it's not just there because your body isn't used to the local bacteria, etc. And then said, when I was in Germany, I drank some water and got hella sick.
Oh, that doesn't sound like fun.
Right.
No, not at all.
That's one of the dumbest questions. Let's go to the end. Let's go to the edge.
There is no edge, you dipshit. That's the 7 known continents right here. All the 7 known continents within this range here. It's outer space, not upper space, outer space. You want to see where Mars is? When they say they're going to Mars? Terra's de Marte, the land of Mars. See that? There's more land. Oh, there's the lands of Venus. Oh, it keeps going. It's outer space, dipshit. Extraterrestrials, extra terrain, terrestrial means terrain, terrain means land, extra land. They're telling you there's not just 7 continents, that there's thousands of continents.
Exoterra. That's always been a thought of mine, is that extraterrestrial actually meant extraterra, which actually meant extra land. I thought about that when I was a lot younger. It's what was like, that's a weird way to say that. And then outer space, being outside of the atmosphere, that's what always made sense to me, not what he was saying. But when you look at that map, it makes a little bit of sense.
Elm Street said, yeah, I didn't know not to drink tap water in other countries. Like 2 minutes after drinking, I was down for the count for 5 hours.
Yeah, I've heard it's really bad in Mexico too, the water.
Yeah.
The lands of the custodians. This parasitic race, as we briefly indicated in the first chapter, are beings that base their technology on attack and defense weapons, using all their potential in the discovery, colonization, and exploitation of other lands, as well as the beings they can find. Their beginning is unclear and full of questions. There are theories among the giants where it is said that the custodial race was attacked by some other race that did not even come from this great dome, and that they merged with the locals to create a great force that later gave origin to the custodians. This would explain the reason for their great development over other races that were still in their infancy, trying to survive within their circles. The custodians, it is said, were the first to leave their world and advance on their way to the others, with great destructive and colonizing power, having reached each of the worlds and tried to explore around the known end of the worlds. While they have been defeated on at least 2 known occasions by 2 completely different races, it is certain that they are also vengeful, and that, if they have not yet tried again, they soon will. The custodians, as the only race, were the ones who attempted to enter the celestial lands that very little is known. These lands are the most mysterious of all the known worlds, and while all or almost all the races existing today are aware of this place, very few dare to want to penetrate it. The story goes that humanity, in a way, comes from these lands, and that each of the humans have the source, or life energy, also called soul, that comes from these lands. Therefore, the human destiny is to confront the custodians, that whatever is done, the great clash will be inevitable. Although it has already been tried, and the great forces between humans and custodians have collided, with the help of the Anakim giants and others, history will surely repeat itself again in these lands. For that reason, we are very aware of everything that happens here. Any opportunity to free humanity will be used to the fullest. Also, we cannot make the mistakes of the past, otherwise it is possible that now we may never have another opportunity. For each reset, the security becomes stronger, and the human standard of living becomes less and less free. The humanity that is living now is nothing like that of my ancestor in these same lands, nor that of my ancestor to the previous one. Each reset is worse, stricter, with less freedom and greater manipulation.
And this will be our last video for tonight, so let's kick this off real quick.
So there's a satellite image from the ESA 7 satellite. This was in 1968. And it was like the first visual of Earth via satellite, or like a composite of it.
Yeah.
But look at, and it's was
like
stationed over the North Pole. And this is the picture that they released.
What the heck?
And they talk about, oh, it's just the composite images that they all put together, and the North Pole wasn't captured. Right? Okay, well then this was from Google Earth in like the early 2000s. Send this to you.
It's the hole to the center of the Earth.
And then this was released by NASA, I believe, in the 80s or 90s.
You guys,
all separate.
Go.
Holy moly, dude.
That's
Literally.
actually unsettling.
So where's Santa?
But does it not look, if you compare it to that first map,
it's identical.
And people talk about...
And what year was that map? That was like the 1600s?
Yeah.
Gosh, man.
Yeah, and people have talked about, like, apparently NASA, but they've taken it back, or they've, like, scrubbed it or something. They talked about, like, it was really hard to find the image, but there was this obscure image that people, like, zoomed in of the Earth, and at the top, there was literally a black stone sticking out, like, at the top of the world.
Oh my gosh.
A black stone.
And it's, like, the same as this freaking map, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
Guys,
literally,
these mysteries of the world.
That's like we're never gonna know.
We will. I believe we'll know in heaven.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, it's just because
Yeah.
people will say, of course, there's nothing there. Like, you just go. Like, people have gone there. It's like, well, we don't know.
you know,
that.
flight paths. You're not allowed to fly over
Is it
the North
restricted?
Pole. Yeah, because I mean, probably because it's the most harsh climate, but
Yeah.
still,
Right.
people don't fly over the North Pole.
Yeah.
But Admiral Byrd did.
Admiral Byrd.
We've
Yeah.
talked about him a lot too.
Yeah.
He
Good
did,
name for a pilot.
Yeah. He's associated with a ton of stuff. Like even the Project Fishbowl. He was involved in the Operation High Jump.
Was he the guy that had the heart attack in
I don't remember how to-
Antarctica?
No, that was Buzz Aldrin.
Oh.
Admiral Byrd, this was like shortly after World War II. He was sent with an armada. The Navy sent this whole armada of battleships to the Antarctic. Super weird stuff. And it was just to explore, but it was all weaponized. And so the theory is that he went out there to seek out Nazi hideouts in Antarctica.
Yeah.
So he explored that, said that there's some crazy stuff there. And then he also did an exploration to the North Pole. And this is where this is the conspiracy part.
Okay.
Because apparently he had, and we've talked about it before, I believe, but his secret diary that only he had. And then when he died, his son got it. And then when his son was trying to publish the stuff in it, he died, like under very mysterious circumstances. But Admiral Byrd talks about in this secret diary, allegedly that he wrote, people think that it's fake, that when he went to explore the North Pole, there was an entry to inner Earth, like hollow Earth.
And that would make sense with this big old hole.
It would. And he describes it as being in the Earth, lush green land beyond the ice, mammoth-like creatures, a technology advanced civilization, and meeting with a being called the Master, who warns humanity about nuclear weapons.
Wow.
Which we literally just talked about in the very beginning of this episode. With Admiral Byrd finding the hole to the inner Earth and supposedly going to the inner Earth and seeing mammoth-like creatures and talking to aliens and being escorted by UFOs.
See, I like watching them a lot because they can actually find some really cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they were showing some more pictures on the North Pole.
Yeah.
So it just makes you think, why now are they just trying to cover it up, making it look like there's no hole there, when they already showed it in the past?
Right. And supposedly it was shown in the past or whatever. And if those pictures are legitimate or whatnot, which, you know, it's hard for me to say if they are or not, because me being who I am, it's very hard for me to be like, well, I know it's up there. I've been up there. No, because I haven't.
Because we're not allowed to
been up there.
We would know if we were allowed.
Everybody else's word for it.
But they're saying because it's a harsh climate, it's a no-fly zone.
Yeah. Well, guys, we're hit at about the 1 hour and 52-minute mark. So this is going to be where we end our show tonight. So it looks like we have a comment here, crew. You want to read it?
Okay, so we got a few comments here. Let's see. I feel like this map isn't well put. Like it's flat Earth styled. LOL. Elm Street also said actually the first guy to fly over the both poles died flying over it one last time on a rescue mission. Railed M. Munson, and personal hero of mine. He also said, and he did it in a World War I plane, basically LMAO. And then last thing Elm Street said, magnetic fields can't be detected on North and South Pole on an image because of magnetism and pole direction.
Right.
So, I mean, the thing is, though, with that one map, though, it's not a flat Earth map. It's more of lines of the Tara Infinita map is more of a, they say it's fictional because of the book, but at the same time, it's I wouldn't consider it fictional. I wouldn't because
you really enjoy it, and it feels like there could be something to it in our opinions. But like we said, it's all alleged to us. It's all
it's all alleged. You can't prove it. You can't because
it's a fun story. It's fun to read. It's fun to talk about. It's fun to be like, wow, that'd be crazy if that was real.
Yeah, the Tara Infinita series, there's 3 books, but apparently there's more that was written by other people to add on to the story. And I love reading it and hearing about it.
For sure, 100%.
Yeah. Elm
But-
Street said, I like the idea of it, just making discussions is all.
Oh no,
Yeah.
for sure, man.
Oh,
no,
yeah, for
no
sure.
harm, no foul. Nobody's upset.
Yeah. No problem.
Yeah, it's one of the greatest topics to talk about when it comes to
Crew's
Tara
very
Infinita.
passionate when it comes to flat Earth because he truthfully he believes everything the Bible says, and he does not believe that the Bible would lie about a firmament or the Earth being flat, which the Bible does have some quotes that kind of directly relate to the Earth's shape being flat. So
Okay, so I'm going to put it this way. I don't believe the Earth is flat. I don't think there's a flat plane. I think it's beyond.
yeah,
There's more beyond.
you think it's endless.
It's endless, yeah. Because if Admiral, like what you said with that one map that Admiral said,
Mhm.
it goes further than that.
Yeah. Elm Street said his face when you said that.
Do you have a panic attack, Crew?
No. But no, like, okay, so I'm not like an extremist flat earther. I don't really, okay, so when it comes to
Crew, I hate to interrupt you, but we have to get off, or I won't be able
Yeah.
to clip anything from this show.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, so we hope you all had a wonderful night tonight on the Robert and Crew Show. We will see you all tomorrow for the next episode. And if for some reason we're not on tomorrow, we'll be on the next day. But we have an episode planned for tomorrow. So at around 12:30, as usual. Much love and peace out from the Robert and Crew Show.
Peace.
Peace.
Everybody wants answers, but nobody's asking the right questions. This is gonna blow your mind. And maybe make you laugh too. Welcome to the Robert and Crew Show, where we dig up conspiracies, chase UFOs, and turn the weirdest news into wild stories. Join Robert, Crew, and Julie every week for secrets, laughs, and the unexplained. Season 6 is streaming now. Follow us if you dare.